morning, all. My name is Ashraf. I am product manager of Vesta products, all the solutions of Vesta. So for today's presentation, we will talk about all the solution that we will have with Vesta control panels. We will see the different control panels that we have, what we can do with these control panels, because we have this solution not for only security but also for automations, and we can have more features for our customers and not give them only the security part. So we will talk about all the devices. We will see the platform, the user platform and the installer platform. And also, if someone have any question during this presentation or training, just stop me and we can discuss these questions that you can have. So perfect. Thank you very much for joining, and let's start. So what is Vesta by Climax system? It's a complete solution that we integrate security, automations. We also have some integration with video verification systems like Dahua, Hikvision, Hyundai, SV's camera integration, and we integrate everything on the same app. So for the user, we will give him only one application, and the user can control the security, the automation, the cameras, the doorbells, the access management system, because we have the integration with Danalog. Danalog, it's a door look that operates in Z-Wave, and we also have the integration inside our system. Okay, so the concept is that with Vesta, we will have all of this in the same application, and we will not tell the customer to install different applications to see the cameras, another one to control the lights, and another one to control the security system. So we will have only one app, and inside this app, we will control everything. So it's a global ecosystem that can cover almost anything, temperature, security, automations, turning on, turning off lights, thermostats. So we can have a full solution for any type of area or facility. So Vesta panels, we have 3 different control panels. In this case, we have the radio control panel, which has 320 radio zones. It works in F1. F1 is a protocol that Climax uses to communicate between the control panel and the devices. It has a lot of range. In open area, it can reach almost 2 kilometers. We did some testing with other brands that we currently have in By Demes, and I can tell you that it's very powerful. The F1 protocol is very, very powerful. Also, the radio control panel has Z-Wave incorporated. 2 communication paths. We have Ethernet and GPRS. In this case, panels that can operate in 2G and the other ones in 4G bands. The 4G control panels can switch to other bands perfectly. So if we have a 4G control panel and in the area where we are installing the control panel, there is no coverage of 4G or LTE, the control panel can decide and switch directly to 2G communication. We have built-in siren and also the battery for the backup. In case of failure of AC, we can have a battery to have backup and report the events. This control panel is certified in grade 2. In second place, we have the control panel, the hybrid control panel, which it supports 320 zones as well. And in this case, they could be conventional wiring zones, radio zones, or bus zones. We will talk about the bus zones in next slides. Also, we have the F1 protocol inside this control panel, so we can connect any device, peer cam sensor, peer motion sensor, any type of device such as wireless. We can also connect it directly to this control panel. We have 16 wired zones on board. These 16 wired zones are conventional wiring for any type of sensor like Pyronics, Optex, Texecom, or any type of device, wired device. We have, for the communications, we have Ethernet, we have 4G, 2G, Wi-Fi panels, but always we have two different paths. We have Ethernet, and we can choose if we want the 2G or the 4G control panel. Optional, we have the Z-Wave and Zigbee protocols. This is for automation. I will talk about these two protocols in next slides as well. In third place, we have the autonomous control panel, the BOIGP, battery operated gateway panel. This panel can support 50 radio zones in F1 as well. The battery life of this control panel is 1.2 years. It has 4 batteries inside. It's type D batteries, the big batteries, alkaline batteries. And we can reach this autonomous 1.2 years because it's always in sleep mode. But we can connect it to external battery to have connectivity 100% of the time. So if we want the control panel to be online all the time, we need to connect external battery. We have some kits already on our webpage that can operate with the external battery. If we only leave this panel with the internal batteries, it will only wake up to report events. So in case of alarm, it will wake up and report all the events to the app and the central monitoring station in case that we connect it to the central monitoring station. The communication of this control panel is 2G or 4G. It doesn't have Ethernet because it doesn't make sense because it will be installed on areas where we don't have electricity. So this control panel is for these facilities where we don't have alternate current and we don't have internet. It has built-in siren and keypad. The keypad, it could be used for arming and disarming, but also for programming this panel. You didn't see them. Okay, but here we have the summary of all what I was talking about. We have 3 different panels, the LoRaWAN, the hybrid, and the BOIGP, the battery operated. The battery operated panel, as I said, is used for areas where we don't have electricity. We can put this panel to protect the area. Sorry for the sharing issue. So I think now you can see the total screen. Okay, so here is the different versions of the hybrid control panel. We have the 2G version, which has TCP/IP, so Ethernet input and the 2G communicator. We have the 4G version, and we have the full version as well. The full version has Z-Wave and Zigbee built in on the PCB. Here is the hybrid control panel inside. We have the 16 wired zones PCB. This is for the 16 wired zones where we can connect any external device like sensor like Texecom, Pyronics, Optex, or other brands. This is conventional wiring where we have the zone number 1. We have GND and Vaux, which is 12 volts DC current. We have RS485 boost connection where we can connect the boost devices. The siren output, the transformer. The transformer is 3 amps transformer, which can give you 2 amps for our devices. 1 amp is for the PCB, for the full PCB and communicators, and the 2 amps is for the rest of the components, for the wired zones, the boost devices, and the siren. We have amplified connection for external antenna. If we want to extend the antenna range, we can wire the external antenna in this connector, in this terminal, sorry, and we can have more coverage because we can extend the antenna to up to 10 meters. We have the SIM card input and the Ethernet input. We have the 12 volts battery. This is the 7 amps battery. If we want a bigger one, we can take the power supply. The power supply can give us more possibilities. This is the type of wiring that are allowed for the control panel. We have different allowed wiring from 1 to 8 in this case. And as you can see, we have the resistor here, and this resistor it's programmable on the installer app. So we can choose which value of R we want to use for the wired zones. And this is very interesting because if we are changing an old control panel with a new one, we only need to go to the installer app and choose the type of wiring that we are using. Normally it's the 8. The wiring 8 is mostly used. And we can choose also the value of R, and we can choose 1 kilo ohm, 2.2 kilo ohms, 3.3 kilo ohms, etc, etc. So this is very interesting because we don't need to change the wiring, the existing wiring. The control panel can adapt to the existing wiring. Here is the topology for the hybrid control panel, the different devices that we can have. We can have Z-Wave for automation. For the communication, we can have Ethernet, Wi-Fi, 4G, GPRS, and also LoRaWAN. LoRaWAN, we will talk about this protocol later. In booth wiring, booth is the pink or the violet color. In booth devices, we can have the peer cams, the expanders, the sirens. In radio, we can have other devices, and also we can have the conventional wiring. Also, we have the integration with different brands of cameras, like Dahua, Hikvision, and we can also have them on the same control panel. How the booth wiring works, in this case, we have the booth terminals inside the control panel. We can take 4 cables and we can reach different devices. Like in this case, the indoor peer cam, the outdoor peer cam, and all the booth devices. We have expanders for conventional zones, for normal zones. The touch keypad, we can wire it by booth as well. And in these 4 wires, we can program everything. We can receive the alarms from these sensors, and also we can program them, like changing the sensibility, changing parameters, and making some configurations only with these 4 wires that we have here. This is the star topology. Also, we can make a booth topology, like from one device to another one, to another one, and to another one. And if we can't reach more distance, we have some amplifiers and isolators. This amplifier is used to amplify the RS485 signal and reach more distance to the last device. We have also the power supply. We can connect a power supply to have more to have more power on the booth system. So to program the hybrid control panel is very simple. We have an installer app which is called SmartHome Tech. Also, we have web platform for installers, which is a web SmartHome Tech web. Or we can program it locally through the central web server. The control panel, when we connect it to our computer directly, for example, we can access to the internal local IP of the control panel, and we can make the configurations if we want. All the control panels that we see, the radio, the hybrid, and the battery operated control panel, they all link to the same cloud. So for the installers and for the users, they use the same application. This is interesting because if we are using currently only the radio version and we want to use the hybrid as well, it will be the same installer application and same configuration for both panels. The F1 protocol that I was talking about and all the control panels have, it's a powerful 868 megahertz radio frequency, and it can reach almost 2 kilometers of range. It has a long battery life and fast response. It optimizes the power of transmission depending on the distance. It has an encryption attack shield protocol, which is protects against cloning the RF signals. Compact antennas inside the devices, and the exclusive ATAE technology, which improves the frequency stability. This technology it's used to maintain a stable communication between the device and the control panel, and also ensure a fast communication between the devices. We mentioned that some panels has Z-Wave and Zigbee integration. In this case, Z-Wave and Zigbee, these protocols are used for these protocols are used for automation devices. Let's see the Z-Wave. The Z-Wave it operates in 868 megahertz frequency. It allows a mesh network, so each device that we connect to the system, it can repeat and generate a repeater repetition signal. So, for example, if I have a relay here, this relay is generating a radio frequency to repeat other devices, other Z-Wave devices. So if we have more devices inside our installation, we can have more range because devices will start repeating with each other. And it's a closed protocol, so there is a lot of manufacturers of Z-Wave. They develop this protocol, and we are fully integrated with them. Zigbee protocol is similar than Z-Wave, but in this case is more fast because it operates in 2.4 gigahertz, like Wi-Fi communication. And in this case, also we have the mesh communication between the devices. We have the integration with a lot of brands like Philips Hue, Yale, and other brands. If you want, we can send you the Excel with all the integrations that we have with the Zigbee and the Z-Wave protocol. There is an interesting automation device that we have in Vesta, and I would like to mention, which is the scenario selector. This scenario switch has 4 actions, the first button, the second one, the button number 3 and the 4, and these buttons are used to trigger some actions inside the control panel. Like, for example, for an elder person, we can use the first button to perform an action like arm the control panel, switch on or off the lights, or perform any type of actions automatically. So here I have an example. So for the first button, I want to commutate or switch on or switch off the light. With the button number 2, the shutter controller, I want to control the shutter. The button number 3, I can arm the security system, turn off the lights, and control also the shutter. With the button number 4, I want to start the watering system. So with the same scenario switch connected to the Vesta control panel, we can control all these actions with a simple button. Integration with third parties. As I mentioned, in Z-Wave and Zigbee, we have different integrations with other brands. And in this case, we can have a full solution with the Vesta control panel. We can have the security system control. control of lights, cameras. We can control as well the plugs, the VDP, the video doorbell, and the analog door lock, the thermostat, and we can control also the relays. Integrations, we have Fibaro. I don't know if you heard about Fibaro. So we have the integration with Fibaro, MCO Home, Danalog, IOT devices, and this is some of the devices which they are integrated with the control panel. And we have other brands which you can use with Vesta control panel. If your customer already has a Cubino switch, for example, which is another brand, you can use it directly with the Vesta control panel. F1 security devices. This is the peer cams. The peer cams allow use to take pictures by request. So if the customer needs a picture, can request it directly from the app. Some of our sensors have anti-masking to avoid masking the lens. So if someone tries to find the sensor or cover the sensor, we can receive the masking signal inside the app in the events. We have also the core time sensors. This is very interesting device because it's for outdoor and it's used to protect a wall or protect anything, and doesn't generate 90-degree detection. It generates only 8 degrees, and this is very interesting if we have a conflict outdoor environment like a lot of trees or any type of a difficult environment for outdoor, which other sensors can generate false alarms. We can use this sensor to cover only 8 degrees and protect the doors, window, or anything we want in the outdoor environment. Also, we have the camera here, which it takes 6 image or 3 image sequence if it detects. This is another of interesting devices which has 4-in-1 sensor. Has a fire sensor, which is photo ear or photoelectric sensor, and thermovelocimetric. It detects if there is a lot of change in the temperature and reach 50 degrees, it can trigger the alarm. We have the temperature sensor, which we can use to trigger some rules. We have the peer sensor, 360 degrees sensor, which we can use to trigger some lights, or we can use it for intrusion, like when the system is armed, if it detects trigger the alarm. And the possibility of creating the rules for activation by movement or temperature raise or call. So we can create a lot of rules inside the control panel with this device. Here is some more F1 devices for security: contact doors, peer sensors, outdoor peer cam and indoor peer cam, smoke sensors. The keypads, we have different range of keypads. In this case, as you can see here, we have 4 versions of the keypad, the touch screen. This is tag reader. This tag reader is for outdoor environment. Here we have outdoor sirens and the indoor sirens, the choke sensors, and the choke and vibration sensors. This is the repeater. The repeater, it's an interesting device because we can connect different devices until we the maximum devices is 60, so we can connect 60 devices maximum or 8 peer cams. The repeaters could be linked to each other to make a shine with the repeaters and have more coverage, and this is interesting. Okay, so in areas where we don't have radio frequency signal, we can put one repeater, and if we want another one, we can link the repeater B to repeater A to make a shine with the repeaters. Here we have more devices. Another interesting device is the Optex integration, this transmitter. This transmitter is for all these Optex sensors for the outdoor, and it's plug and play because the Optex itself is powered by this device itself, and it's plug and play because we only need to connect the connector that it comes with the Optex sensor to this PCB and click on the button to learn it to the control panel. We have also the advanced integration, which is the version 2 transmitter, Optex transmitter. And this module allows you to receive alarms from these sensors, the tamper, the battery life, the supervision, and also we can make the remote configuration. So for outdoor environment, it's very interesting because always when we install something on the outdoor environment, we need to make some adjustment, and with this PCB we can perform this configuration remotely. We can change the following parameters like the detector sleep time, the LED control. We can control the LED of the sensor to on or off, enable or disable anti-masking. The peer sensitivity regulation, we can set it to low, medium, or high. And all of this, we can do it from the app, from the installer application. We are compatible with all these models. Temperature control. For the temperature control, we have different devices which they can give you the precise temperature for a fridge or industrial fridge or any area where we want to control the temperature. And we have some statistics and some graphics on the platform where we can check the evolution of the temperature during the time. And we can export this data in CSV or Excel file and send it to our customer if we wish. Also, we can set some rules. If the temperature increases more than X, we can trigger an alarm, or we can perform some action like trigger a relay or do any type of actions on the system. This is a multifunction sensor. This is a occupancy sensor which detects if there is a movement and keep the lights on or keep the lights off, or we can program any action with these devices. If we want, for example, if we purchase a control panel and this control panel doesn't have Wi-Fi or doesn't have Zigbee protocol, we can put this protocol with the dongle. We have different dongles for different protocols, and we can connect them directly to different control panels. Like Zigbee protocol, if I don't have Zigbee protocol inside the radio control panel, we can only purchase the Zigbee dongle and insert it into this control panel. Also, an interesting device is the LoRa dongle. The LoRa dongle is it's a protocol to transmit signals via radio frequency. LoRa, it's a protocol, communication protocol, which it has a long range and it's difficult to jam it. So if we lost Ethernet, we lost GPRS, the control panel can still report the events through LoRaWAN protocol. So more about LoRa, as I said, if we lost Ethernet, we lost the communication by the SIM card. The control panel can transmit the events to LoRa, and in this case, the event will be reached to the central monitoring station. The features of LoRaWAN is high interference tolerance, ideal in industrial environments, high sensitivity data reception, very low power consumption, the long range up to 10 or 20 kilometers, depending on the antenna we use, and the ecosystem with more than 21,000 LoRaWAN servers in the world. It's free connection, so we can connect to this 21,000 LoRaWAN servers in the world. So here, for example, a map of Spain, the coverage of Spain, Barcelona in this case, We have a lot of coverage, so in my case, I don't need to install any type of gateways because I already have a lot of communications in LoRa. Here we have this map. You can check it if you want. I will share with you in the comments the link to this page to check the coverage in your area, TTN mapper. So I will send you now this okay, perfect. I sent you a link on the chat where you can check the coverage of the different areas, the coverage of LoRaWAN protocol. Okay. We have the integration with the cameras, as I said at the beginning, with Dahua cameras and other brands like Hikvision. So the cameras integrated on the system are Hikvision, Dahua, Hyundai, and SBs. For the Dahua integration, it's almost plug and play. We only need to connect the camera to the same router as the control panel, and we can check the real time from the app. I will show you the application later when we finish this presentation. I will show you the app and what your customer can see inside the app. In case of alarm, the system will send the user 15 seconds video recording or pictures. In case of pressing the panic button, we can also take some pictures on the cameras. Users can perform actions like photo requests or video requests for some of the models. But also we have the advanced integration or the deep integration with these cameras. We have also the integration of analytics. Dahua cameras has some EVS functions like tripwire or human detection. So all these detections could receive directly to the control panel, to the Vesta control panel, and trigger the alarm if we want. We can choose the attribute for the camera, like instant zone, delayed zone, or follow-up zone by activation through analysis. Also, we can build the camera to one zone or more. So here, an example how to add the Dahua cameras inside the system. I will show you a small video how the cameras are added to show you that it's very simple. Just 1 second. Okay, I think I can't reproduce this video, but I will show it to you later when I share my screen of the phone. I will show you how the simple is to add the camera and check the video. Millimeter wave fault sensor. This is an interesting sensor that I put a slide in this presentation because I think it's interesting. The millimeter wave fault sensor, it's a fault sensor that can detect if an elder person or any person falls to the ground and can report an alarm. It's trained to detect via artificial intelligence different situations. If the person is sleeping, it will not trigger the alarm. But if the person is sleeping and dropped to the ground, it's dropped to the ground, then it can trigger the alarm. So it's a very good device to add to the Vesta control panels. I was talking about the scenes and rules during these presentations. We can create a rule to trigger on or trigger off the lights, etc. So now I will explain how the rules are applied. So the rules are automatic system which can trigger some actions by calendar or if we change the mode, if it detects, if we open or if we close the door, and we can perform some actions. It's very simple. So in the rule, we can program the activation, how we want the rule to be activated. We can choose, for example, calendar from Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. We can choose also the conditions we can set up some conditions, only with the condition that the system is armed, and we can make some actions like activate a relay for 10 minutes. So this is a rule. If this and this happens, then do this. It's very simple. Okay, we set up some activation, the conditions, and the actions to be taken. We will see a real example now. So for the part of the presentation, I already tell you the summary of all the Vesta solution and what we can do. And now let's go to the platform. In this case, to Smart Home Tech platform, just to show you the user and the installer app and what we can do in the different parts. So to access like installers, we only click on this tools symbol, and we can access like installers. If you want to access like users, we switch to user, and we can access to user. Inside the user app, we have different control panels. If we only have one, we can access to our panel. So in this case, I will access to my testing panel. So give me just 1 second. Okay, this is my control panel. The app is the same, more small, but it's the same. It has the same concept. We have the arming and disarming button, also the home arming button. We have a panic button. If we press it and long press it, we can send a panic button to the rest of the user with the map, with a location map. Here we have the peer cams. We can request some photos. If I press on photo request, now the system is taking the picture in the peer cam. The picture is taken correctly. I can take another picture if I want. In this case, this device it's out of order, so it will not take it. But for the first one, it will be taken. So okay. Here we have the cameras. All the security zones are here, and the cameras are here. Okay. If we have automation devices, we can have them here. So I will access to this camera, for example. This is the VDP, and I can check the real stream directly from the web browser. If I am the app, I can also see the real stream on inside the app. I have another camera, so I click to check. I don't know if it's online or not, but let's watch and check if it's online. Yes, it's online, so I can see the real stream. As you can see, the seconds here up, and this is the real stream of my camera. I can take a picture if I want, or I can take a video if I want. Here I can check the status of the camera, if it's connected or not. And this button is very useful because if I change the router and the IP address is changed, so I click this button and the Vesta control panel will search inside the intranet to find this camera. I can enable or disable the human detection of these cameras. What I said about the video analysis in this slide. In this one, I talked about video analysis inside the Dahua camera, so I can enable it or disable it. Okay, the analysis. So here I have it. I can save. Okay, save successful because it's programmed the camera correctly. So here in the automation zone, I can see the different sensors that I have. For example, scenario switch. I can see the 4 buttons of scenario switch, and I can check what actions I have for each scenario switch. I have the thermostat, which is powered off right now, and I can switch it on if I want. I can put it in auto mode. Now it's switching on the thermostat. Okay, now it's switched on and the current temperature is 16.8. I can make some set point like 24 degrees. And now it's putting the thermostat in heating mode, and it will be powered until reach the 24 degrees. I have multi-sensor here, like light sensor, temperature sensor, and humidity sensor. I can access, and I can see the different values, and also I can check the graphics of last 24 hours. I can download this data into Excel file. I can click on download and download these humidity values. Also, I can make some rules. I can create a rule if the humidity of this sensor reach more than 50%, then trigger an alert or make some actions. I can create it perfectly. Let's create one rule just to show you how it operates. So I can see here the temperature. We are in 16 degrees. The light, it will be different in last 24 hours because in the night, as you can see, is zero, almost zero. But from 6 to 8, we have 8 lux. In this case, 800 lux approx. So let's create a rule just to show you how it's created. To create a rule, we choose rule. We insert our master code, and we create a new rule. Like for example, if temperature temp more than 20 degrees. Okay. So here I choose the type. Let me translate for you the platform. Just to translate it to English. English. Okay, rules. Temp more than 20 degrees. Okay. So here I choose the trigger. The trigger, I have a different options like the change mode. If someone change the mode from arming to disarming or from disarming to arming, if the door is open, if the door is closed, if the motion sensor is detected. So we have a lot of actions here. But I will choose temperature above. I can choose the device, for example, the zone 11, and I can choose the set point. Like for example, 20 degrees. It's more than 20 degrees. I can choose the action, like make an alarm. Okay, I can choose alarm, and I can say high temperature alarm of this sensor. I click on save, and if the temperature of this sensor, the zone 11, is more than 20 degrees, it will trigger an alarm. We can perform like auto arming or auto disarming, for example. Auto arming. Let's choose from the rules the calendar. We can choose weekly, and we can choose from Monday to Friday, for example, at 6 o'clock. And we can perform the action of arming, change mode, arm away. And we can choose the area 1, in this case, arm away. And we have an auto arming program. So the rules are very simple. We only choose the trigger, conditions, and the actions. The conditions are optional. They are not mandatory, so we can avoid them if we want. So no problem. Okay. So this part is clear. If someone has any question, just tell me, and we can give more details. Great. So inside devices, I have more sensors like this air quality sensor, which is telling me that the air quality is okay. I can check the last 24 hours or last 30 days. I can check the quality of the air, and I can create the rules depending of the quality of the air as well. If we have some relays, we can switch on or switch off. Like in this case, in this relay, I can switch it on. If I have a door look, I can switch on and switch off. In this case, the shutter I can set at 50% if I want. And now it's sending the command of 50%. I think this device, I don't have it connected, so it's telling action timeout. Okay, so inside the camera part, we already checked that we can see the stream, we can make a photo request. In this case, in the event tab, we can see the pictures that we requested. This is the first picture that I requested from the peer cam, and this is the picture from the camera. We can see it in more quality if we download it if we want. Here we have all the alarms and the events generated by the system. Here I have a video, for example. I can download this video and check it. Okay. Missed ring. Okay. Alarm video. I can download it. We can see it. Okay. This is a burglar alarm. Where I can see what happens. If there is nothing, then I can say, okay, it's maybe a false alarm. Here I have another alarm for this camera, and I can see that there is some persons, so it's a real alarm. Okay, so I don't know if there is any question about